a dystopian future where fallen heroes rise again. What is the price of redemption? Follow this video, because today is the day of a complete saga. Kingdom Come is a miniseries from the Elseworlds imprint of comics written by Mark Waid and illustrated by Alex Ross, released by DC Comics in 1996. With a complex plot and an adult approach, the story is set in an alternate future of the DC universe, where a new generation of superhumans emerges after the retirement of the older heroes. The narrative begins with the introduction of the protagonist, Norman McCay, a minister who starts having visions related to the apocalypse described in the biblical book of Revelation. In one of these visions, he visits Wesley Dodds, his friend and former hero Sandman, who shares his concerns about the future. Norman begins to question the role of superhumans in this new era, especially when a new generation of heroes, led by Magog, emerges to replace those who have retired. These new heroes do not follow the same values and principles of their predecessors, unleashing an increase in violence and irresponsibility in the world. As society is divided between those who believe in the need for these new violent heroes and those who wish for the return of the old values of heroism, Norman encounters the Spectre, a supernatural entity seeking a human host to enforce justice and judgment. Norman becomes the host of the Spectre and is guided by this entity as he witnesses crucial events and encounters with various characters from the DC universe. He witnesses battles, personal dramas, and ethical conflicts, such as the meeting between Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman to discuss the future of superhumans and the fate of humanity. In the apparent Smallville, Norman observes the old Clark Kent at the Kent farm, visited by Wonder Woman. She urges Superman to return to action, but he refuses. The farm is just a simulation of the old one, inside the Fortress of Solitude. Clark lost Lois Lane and his parents and has sequestered himself in the fortress for 10 years. Magog, who has become the greatest symbol of the current generation of superhumans, is responsible for Superman's retirement. He and his team called the Justice Battalion violently attacked the former villain Parasite. Captain Atom ended up wounded and with his body broken in the battle. With an unstable body, he caused an atomic explosion, releasing radiation that resulted in the total destruction of the state of Kansas, including parts of Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, immediately killing over 1 million people. Additionally, the soil and animals in the regions were also affected, impacting the country's agricultural production and the global economy. After that, the Spectre shows Norman what happened to the other heroes, and we see that Flash merged with the Speed Force, no longer visible but everywhere in constant motion. Hawkman became the protector of nature. Green Lantern Alan Scott created a stronghold in space to monitor future alien attacks on Earth, while Batman, after being broken by Bane, had his identity revealed, but did not stop. Batman created an army of robots that patrol all of Gotham City, dealing with criminals. The Spectre then takes Norman McCay to Metropolis to see what was happening. There, some modern heroes were fighting each other on a suspended bridge over a tram full of civilians. With this irresponsibility, the cable is cut, and now innocents are in danger. Like a divine form, Superman appears, saving the people. Hope returned. The Spectre takes Norman to the Statue of Liberty, and there he sees the vision of 7 angels on fire, and there he understands the message. It was just the beginning of the end of the world. America Mando, a new extremist superhuman, was shooting immigrants. From the skies, the 7 members of the Justice League, including Superman, appear to save the population. The Justice League returned not only to save people from these incidents, but to end the madness that the world had become. At the United Nations, Superman, almost like a divine figure, speaks while everyone listens. He says it was a mistake for the heroes to have been away for a while. In the absence of heroes, a new generation of false idols emerged, but now they were back to bring back the meaning of justice and truth, ready to fix what was wrong. Humanity was afraid of what was to come. Batman did not want to return to the League. Unlike Superman, he never stopped acting and told Clark that now humans wanted their heroes to be stronger and more ruthless, so Earth was in the hands of metahumans. For this, Batman gathered his human allies. He did not want to sit next to gods again. Superman and the League followed their plans without Batman, together recruiting some superhumans who wanted to join them, or fighting those who did not. All had to follow Superman's orders to be heroes. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor gathers a team of retired villains, including old enemies of Batman, such as Riddler and Catwoman, to manipulate and control events. Alongside them was also Billy Batson, Shazam, the former Captain Marvel. Luthor wants to use the war between superhumans and regular humans to promote his own rise to power. At the Green Lantern's fortress, Superman meets with the old and new members, and that becomes the new headquarters of the Justice League. On Earth, various heroes oppose joining Superman. Aquaman, for example, refuses the offer because he now has obligations as the King of Atlantis. He would not involve himself in human conflicts. After all this, Magog was found. He was still in Kansas trying unsuccessfully to rebuild something in the midst of the devastation when Superman arrives to confront him. Magog says it was all Superman's fault, and it all started when the Joker invaded the Daily Planet and massacred 92 men and one woman, Lois Lane. The Joker was arrested, but as everyone knew, he would escape at some point and carry out other attacks. Fed up with this, Magog kills him, and after his action, Magog is brought to justice by Superman, but he is acquitted. The people were on Magog's side. He was the new hero humanity wanted. That was the reason for Superman's exile. Magog said he never wanted to be the man of tomorrow, but humans elected him and wanted his actions to be like that. They wanted heroes who killed. He felt abandoned by Superman, and now there were 1 million dead. Superman then, with new Genesis technology, builds the Fortress of Justice, Gulag, a super prison built in Kansas. With that, Batman allies with Lex Luthor. It is revealed in the story that Billy Batson has been controlled by Lex Luthor for years, through torture and brainwashing, using Dr. Sivana's technology. Lex made Billy fear what superhumans could do to him and his family. Batman seems to have a plan against Luthor, and, with a conversation with Martian Manhunter, telepathically, he discovers what happened to Billy. In Gulag, a rebellion begins. Wonder Woman wishes to intervene in this rebellion at any cost, whereas Superman wanted everything to be done peacefully. Regardless, the two go to the United Nations to explain why a prison of metahumans was built in the middle of the United States without humanity's consent. Meanwhile, Lex sets his plans in motion. He orders Billy to join the rebellion in Gulag so that a war between old and new superhumans ensues, causing total destruction, leaving only humans remaining. Shazam was to fight against Superman. Batman then attacks him in an attempt to make him return to normal, ordering his team to attack everyone. Bruce's plan was to understand Billy Batson's role in all of this, and now, with Martian Manhunter, he could contain Luthor. Billy manages to escape from Batman and speak the magic word. At the League headquarters, Wonder Woman dons her armor to head towards Gulag, taking more extremist actions, but she ends up in a discussion with Superman, and at that moment, interrupted by Green Lantern informing them that the walls of Gulag were breached and Captain Comet was killed. Wonder Woman decides to go to battle, leading a team to force a surrender from everyone. Superman, opposed to this, goes alone toward the Batcave to ask Batman for help once again. Batman already knew that the construction of Gulag was a terrible idea, both because of the excess of imprisoned superhumans and what it represented, ordering through strength. That's why Batman didn't want to support it in the first place. As the war between superhumans and common humans intensifies, Wonder Woman leads the battle against Gulag, seeking to contain the prisoners' rebellion. Her Justice League army faces rebellious superhumans, resulting in epic battles throughout the complex. In the midst of chaos, Superman realizes he needs to intervene and restore the lost values of heroism and hope in this new generation of superhumans. He becomes a symbol of inspiration and leadership, uniting the Justice League and other heroes in the fight against the imminent destruction. The end of the world has begun. As the war becomes imminent, humanity decides to take drastic measures. Planes loaded with nuclear bombs are launched against the conflict, threatening to destroy the entire world. led by Batman, the Renegades, a group formed by human allies of the old heroes, join the fight against the violent superhumans. They fight with courage and strategy, supporting the Justice League in their mission to restore peace and order. Batman fights Wonder Woman after she kills one of the superhumans, but upon realizing the bomb's heading their way, they decide to end this before everyone dies. They manage to avoid 2 of the 3 bombs, while the third headed towards the ongoing superhuman battle. Superman, in the midst of the confrontation against Shazam, remembers his past as a symbol of hope and confronts the guilt of abandoning humanity. He rediscovers his determination and leadership, realizing he needs to unite the heroes and face the imminent crisis. Realizing that the bomb was approaching, the Spectre reveals to Norman that the time has come. He needed a human host to carry out his judgments and vengeance, which is why he was showing all the events to Norman. Norman was necessary. If the bomb exploded, only Superman would remain, but humanity would live. If the explosion did not happen, the superhumans would eventually dominate Earth, leading to the end of humanity. Billy prevents Superman from going towards the bomb, and upon transforming into Shazam again, he decides that this would not happen through a god or a human, but someone who has both. By saying Shazam 3 times, he destroys the bomb halfway, but all the superhumans were killed, including Shazam himself, with only Superman left. Some of the superhumans were protected from the explosion. Superman and his allies establish a new order between superhumans and humanity, recognizing the importance of working together, respecting the diversity of powers and values to ensure a better future for all, so that the kingdom of tomorrow may arise. Wayne Manor becomes a center to aid survivors. In Themyscira, Wonder Woman is accepted once again since she brought peace back to the world. Meanwhile, Clark Kent decides to restore and bring life back to Kansas. The story ends with the revelation that Clark and Diana are expecting a child. Bruce was invited by Diana to be the baby's godfather. Since Superman and Wonder Woman lead through trust and Batman through fear, the child should be raised with balance, symbolizing the hope of a new tomorrow and the unity between heroes and humanity. They needed to stand together. And so, the miniseries Kingdom Come concludes. Comment below what you thought of this alternate future and how you think this story will influence the next Superman movie. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to not miss the conclusion of this story. Thank you, and until next time.